You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
It's Corona-mania, brother! Corona-mania is running wild. Get some limes and enjoy a crisp Corona... Oh, no, that's something completely different. Oh, shit. Hey, guess what? I've got Corona of the brain. Well, I don't want to say that too loud because then the National Guard will come and arrest me and put me in a FEMA camp. But anyway, it's a Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. Why don't you shut the hell up about your stupid Corona problems and have a listen to a podcast for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Corona's going to come up because, all of wrestling's affected by it. But if you want a nice little break, if you want to hear a bunch of idiots scream at each other about wrestling, this is the place to be. What a great time. No, there's no good way to end that sentence. But anyway, we've got Pod Talk and Wrestle Time and foosball.
Idiots!
So, shut up. Alec Ransom here with the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. I'm joined by Beef the Legend and Tiger Bomb Tom Poot the Bard, the best damn cruiserweight champ there ever was. We'll be popping in here a little bit later. But for the time being, you've got the three morons ready to rock out. Before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say a quick shout out to the Casual Gaming Dad. Go find him on the internet. He's there. Also, Sean Tisler. He does IWC Clearfield. Go find them on the internet. They're also there. A lot to talk about. Don't have a lot of time to suck the sponsors D. So Beef can do that at the end if the time permits. But anyway, what the hell's happening with the wrestling and the Coronas, boys?
There's always time for D-sucking. Poot will be along later. He's off, doing stuff because he's the voice of Clearfield, and he will work until the fucking sky cracks, the sky opens, and the fucking horsemen ride, man. So and he'll be announcing it the whole time. Yeah, I mean, so good on him, but he's doing his thing. But us, we are your island in the sea of despair and sadness, because we hope to make you smile at least once today, whenever you're listening to us. Hell, listen to us 4 times. You're off drinking some bevs and watching some Netflix and chilling. So listen to us. Have some bevs, smile.
So look, speaking of smiling, I want to tell you this. We had a conversation about this in the chat earlier. I cannot see any way that WrestleMania is going to be good not in front of a crowd. I'm jumping right into it, and I don't give a shit what either one of you two think.
Here's the thing.
I know that you said AEW was good the other night.
It was great last night.
That's fine. It was great. But that's an AEW weekly show, house show, whatever you want to do. Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT, whatever. This is supposed to be the biggest event of the wrestling year, according to Vince McMahon and his universal brain.
According to everybody, if you're in the business, WrestleMania is your Super Bowl. That's why there are all these indie wrestling places that are hurting now, because they're planning to piggyback off it. But go on.
So let me tell you this. Even though they're going to split it up into 2 days, which is good. I hope they continue to do that even once people are back in front of a crowd. It doesn't matter if you put wrestlers in the stands cheering and booing for a match. Because I can tell you this, AEW might run a little bit different. WWE, the wrestlers aren't going to go out there and cheer and boo for who they want. They're going to cheer and boo for who Vince McMahon tells them to cheer and boo for. So not one boo will be heard for Roman Reigns. Not one boo will be heard for John Cena. It's going to be very bad if that happens. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be super weird where it's WrestleMania, your biggest show of the year, in silence. I don't really see how good, I don't really care how good your announce team is. You can't cover that up. It's not going to go well. The matches might be good, but the show itself, not going to go well.
So here's the thing. First of all, we are a little more than 2 weeks away still. So next, and we talked about what could happen last week. Now we know what has happened, and it's changed about 4 times since we talked about it last week. Here we're in Pennsylvania, obviously the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, where at 5:03 p.m. our governor mandated that all non-life essential businesses, their physical brick and mortar locations, have to close. So like talent industries, for example, the WWE, if they operated in Pennsylvania, would not be able to operate in Pennsylvania. Now, granted, they're operating in Florida, which apparently is like the fucking Wild West. Spring break, and fucking people are like, oh, the coronavirus, whatever. Like, hey, now we've quadrupled the amount in fucking 3 days. Thanks, everybody. But like shit is happening in Florida that it seems like no one gives 2 fucks about. So, but we don't know. Again, things change so rapidly with this. It's ever evolving. It could be to where our president says, hey, you know what? This is a national thing. If you are non-life essential, which is defined pretty loosely, you can't work. And that would mean WWE talent cannot work. They cannot put on a show. So, that all being said, I would like to refute your point, Ransom.
No.
Yes, I have other ideas as well that I'll sprinkle in, but I think that as a wrestling fan, one appreciates yes, like WWE is my place to go for like the pomp and the circumstance, and that's why I love Wrestlemania. The big flowery entrances, like the big stupid stages, and everybody gets their own thing, and like the roar of the crowd. Like, yes, you are 100% correct. Without those things, it almost seems superfluous. But we can still appreciate what's happening in the ring, which leads me to the point of the 2-day thing. WWE announced last night, right before NXT went live, quote unquote live, that they would be breaking it up into 2 days, April 4th and April 5th. April 4th hosted by Rob Gronkowski. Yay!
No.
But the idea is that as opposed to having 1 day of a pre-show starting at 5, the main card starting at 7 and probably wrapping up at 11:30, you're going to have presumably 2 days. They probably won't do a 2-hour pre-show on both days. They might. Who knows? But you're going to have matches spaced out now. Okay? So we are going to have a shot at seeing a better product. As far as the crowd response go, and I've been thinking about this, you're right, but there is a solid group, especially of the internet wrestling community, the other IWC, that watches and appreciates New Japan. And if you watch and appreciate New Japan, it is a very quiet thing. Now they don't have their ring mic like the WWE does, and like you get the occasional, Kota, real fucking annoying Japanese lady who's screaming for their favorite wrestler, but it's very rare. Yeah, there's a dull murmur a couple times, but it's still relatively quiet. So I think that the WWE athletes have 2 weeks to pull this together, to try and adapt their style to where they're not playing to the crowd, to where they are playing to the cameras, and they are trying to get feelings from people that are watching as opposed to in the venue itself. What do you think, Tom?
Wow, I don't know. I just kind of spaced out with all the Corona talk because, yeah, I mean I'm on Corona overload. Corona-load, yeah. That and I'm actually in the middle of a game of Risk, so I was highly concentrated on not getting my ass killed right now. Risk, global pandemic domination, spreading like the coronavirus. Yeah, so I don't know. Obviously, like people just have to pull their heads out of their asses and realize like where the priorities really are. Like I was even discussing with Beef before this. I was like, selfishly, like a basic little white bitch or whatever, like white girl basic bitch sort of thing.
Oh,
I'm I'm a little worried that this whole thing is going to be still going on, and that I'm not going to be able to get the pre-orders from GameStop, which technically, as doesn't seem important, and it kind of seems like it's just a video game or whatever, but it's kind of my side business, so it does affect me in that way, because I've been promising that I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that, or whatever, and I took off, and I literally took off work so I can stream stuff day one, and now that may not happen. So obviously I think people will understand. For those that don't, they can go fuck themselves. For just anybody else who exactly, I don't care.
My goodness.
Yeah. But for people that don't understand it and don't realize where the priority is and what's actually important, well, pull your head out of your ass and fucking shut the fuck up. I wondered for I was wondering if WWE would even keep operating at all, because I know that there have been other wrestlers like that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Impact's Sami Callihan said, screw storylines, screw kayfabe. This is about my health, and I'll see you all whenever this is over. Now, I'm not saying that every wrestler shares that sentiment, and I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. Everybody has their own opinion. If your heart is in it and you want to go out there and perform, and if you can do so safely without, being the cause of further contamination and everything like that, then all well and fine. That's why all these self-quarantine measures are in place. Like literally when everything kind of all blew up here in this last week or so, we literally last Sunday I'm sorry, not this past Sunday, the Sunday before, we got an email from our work, and me doing massage therapy, obviously I'm in contact with the general public quite a bit. We got an email saying that they were going to institute a, like a travel kind of measure where, like, if somebody said that they had traveled to like Japan and Germany and whatever since the beginning of the year, we were not going to be able to service them, et cetera, et cetera. And same went for, for us, like we had to sign this waiver saying that we had not traveled either. Okay. At that point, maybe that was good enough. Then within a week it was, hey, we got to shut down because we are not allowed to do anything else right now. And it's like, oh, well, shit. Okay, then. Guess we don't have a choice. So, I really, at the end of it, it's everybody's just got to kind of take it day by day and see what happens. Should, like people are going to debate, well, should the wrestlers even be wrestling? That's a whole nother, a whole nother argument in itself. But
put a pin in that, Tom, because I want to come back around to that another point. So write that down or something, because I definitely want to discuss that point. But go on. We
will. But I mean, to Ransom's point, yes, I can't see WrestleMania. It's obviously not going to live up to expectations of WrestleManias of the past, because it's a totally different situation right now. Now, I still haven't watched. I haven't watched any wrestling this last week because I've been busy doing a shit ton more streaming and just getting more merchandise in my section and updating all that. So shameless self-promotion there. But from all accounts of what I've heard, given the circumstances of what it was, I heard that, the weekly shows did a really good job on Raw and SmackDown and AEW.
No. Raw and SmackDown were piss and shit, but AEW and NXT were decent. Again,
given the situation of what it was, that's from all accounts of what I've heard. I don't know. I haven't watched them yet. I was still kind of on my Raw and SmackDown ban anyways, since he who shall not be named is still the Universal Champion. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. I just haven't gotten around to it. I don't know. So here's the thing that I think really could save WrestleMania is the whole multiple location things. If it's so,
here's the thing with the Performance Center. It is a very intimate setting. You want to have NXT there? Okay. But Raw and SmackDown felt super weird and when NXT was there last week, 2 weeks ago now, there was a crowd there. With Raw and SmackDown, obviously, it's a big empty warehouse. If they can, and the rumor is that they're going to, they want to have multiple locations outside of the Performance Center. So we're talking at least 2 other arenas. Word would be MSG, Madison Square Garden would be one, and who knows, potential. Kicking it back to the days of WrestleMania 2 almost, with the whole closed circuit thing where they switch back and forth. Here's the thing with WrestleMania.
I'm going to take a shot every time Beef says, here's the thing.
That's my thing, man. That's it's my gimmick. Shut up. So
I was just going to say that I was going to take a shot.
Exactly.
That's why I had to say it.
But the thing with WrestleMania is, like...
Here's the thing.
It would be very boring if they just did it from the Performance Center with the same setup that they've had. Because it's a small venue. I would love to see them do a bigger venue, put together a stage, have pyro, do the stupid, like, 3-dimensional, what's it called? The
the superimposed 3D thing.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So that, do whatever you're gonna do to make it feel, do the thing, yeah.
Damn it, Macho.
WrestleMania 9, do the thing. But do the things that make WrestleMania special outside of the crowd. Here's the problem without a crowd.
Okay.
I fixed it. The issue without a crowd is that
Good save.
we are so pre-programmed now because of what NXT has given us the last 4 years of epic encounters. That, like, when, for example, they showed the better part of Cole versus Ciampa last night on NXT, and when Cole hit the last shot and Ciampa kicked out, the crowd went nuts because it's like, oh my god, that's his finish. Ciampa's definitely going to win now. So, like, I think that the false finishes are probably going to land a little more dull.
They need to not do them.
Right. And again, this is something where they have 2 weeks to kind of go back to the drawing board. Exactly, to figure it out. To go back to the drawing board to adapt their style for this particular environment. Is it going to be a top 10 WrestleMania? Probably not.
No.
But it has potential, given some of the matches, given the way that some of these guys can work.
Good.
Good.
Let me know when you're done. I got something to say.
You're good.
No, I don't want to cut you. I don't want to cut you off.
I was just gonna say I feel optimistic, but the fact that they broke it down into 2 nights and they're talking about multiple locations, I feel optimistic that maybe, just maybe, we might not get as big of a shit show as everybody wants to think it's gonna be.
All right, so the multiple locations, like I said, like we talked about, good. Multiple nights, good. I don't really think the size of the venue is going to honestly factor into it. Now, like you said, if they're able to go somewhere where they can create a good stage, fine. That will help. The Performance Center stage definitely will not do anybody any favors. But, I don't have any inclination on why the size of the venue would matter. If it's a small venue or a large venue, it's empty. Who gives a shit the size? If you can put a stage together and make it look impressive, good. But WWE needs to do more than just adapt the way that the wrestlers are going to wrestle inside the ring. And this is going to be a lot to ask because everybody in WWE has been conditioned to play to the audience in their entrances, in their matches, at the finishes, everything. It's designed to play to the audience. It's not designed to play to the people at home. It's designed to play to the audience there because that's going to get the reaction. The people at home who are watching it have already bought it. WWE already has their money. So you don't have to play to them. You have to play to the people in the arena. Granted, they've already bought the money too, but they're the ones who can influence things, the people in the arena. So the one thing I took away from the one, I can't remember which one it was, Raw or SmackDown that I watched the first, like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes of it. And again, I don't see how they're going to be able to change the way these wrestlers were conditioned to WWE entertain in just 2 weeks. They're going to fall back on habits of what they've been programmed to do. Having wrestlers come to the ring with their entrances still pandering to the crowd that isn't there is stupid looking. It looks awful.
Hold on. When you get finished on that point, I have a point.
Good enough. The one thing the real big takeaway I have from that is, and B, if you could probably tell me if this was a Raw or SmackDown, the opening match was a women's tag match. Bayley and Sasha Banks came out first. They were doing their normal entrances like they were pandering to the crowd. Bayley was pandering to the crowd that wasn't there in that arena. Now, granted, you can't just have your music hit, come out on the stage, pose real quick, and then just flat out blanket walk to the ring. I mean, you're not The Rock and you're not Stone Cold. But at the same time, like standing up there being like, hey, look at me, bouncing around, showing your stupid, boss knuckles. And, Bayley coming in like she's jawing at nobody. She's jawing at nobody because there's nobody there. That looks bizarre and weird. And for people people like me who are used to seeing the crowd reaction and things like that, we're not used to watching Japanese wrestling where the crowd is silent. So most WWE fans aren't going to appreciate the silence. They're going to see the awkwardness and the weirdness like I saw. So you can't, I don't know, I don't think you can come to the ring jawing and pandering to an empty arena with no one there because you're getting zero reaction. It's silence.
Fellas.
I really wish hi Poot. Before Tom puts his point in here, I really wish you guys would have watched Dynamite last night because you would have had a much better frame of reference. Because I'm telling you, like I was in the same spot that you guys are right now, saying, "Oh, I don't know." After watching Dynamite, I feel, and again, you're right, Ransom. WWE is not AEW, but I'm telling you one fucking thing, man. If they're smart, if Vince and Sean and Hunter and fucking Doc Pritchard and whoever's doing the fucking booking now, if they're smart, they were sitting there with an Oakland tablet because
an Oakland one.
Daly's, you heard me. Daly's place was a perfect venue. It was empty, but it still had like an outdoor feel because it's Daly's place. It is technically outdoors. So like it didn't feel like terribly empty as odd as it sounds. Like, yeah, having the boys there helps for sure. But I think even without them, they did a wonderful job. All of the AEW wrestlers did a great job in doing what they do best, which is just going out and performing. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I wish you guys would have had time to take and watch AEW last night because it gave me hope. And again, I understand it's apples and it's lemons, and we are all going to be biting the fucking lemon the week after WrestleMania for sure.
All right,
but
so
it gave me hope. Go ahead, Tom.
So here's the thing with the something that I was listening to with again. I take a lot of points and critique and stuff from Bully Ray because from listening to somebody who's been in the business, and I feel like he has a really good mind for things like not always. The fuck was that?
Damn it, Pooch!
What?
Oh,
fucking gift you put in the chat, you bastard!
Wow, you're about like fucking.
That's
15 seconds.
That's one of my favorite wrestling moments ever.
I know, right?
Whenever the Iron Sheik wrestled a gummy worm.
Not that one, the Batista one.
Batista one.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Yeah. So anywho, Bully Ray brought up a really good point. Even with the stuff going on TV like how it is in the empty arena, WWE always has been and always will be a TV kind of company. Like even if there's not a crowd there, they're told and they're taught how to, sell to the hard camera and stuff like that, which is what they normally do. So yeah, it could. I didn't see it yet for myself. Like, by all accounts, having Bailey and Sasha or whoever come out and pander to nobody. Okay, yeah, it's super awkward. I mean,
so weird.
It's gonna be weird, but it's again, people got to take it at face value. Like, look at the situation that we're in, sort of thing. Like, what else are you supposed to do? You can't go out there and you don't want to just half-ass it, because I mean, you don't want to fall out of. Hold on. You don't want to fall out of practice. But the same thing at the same time, go back and watch some of the promos and see how many of them sold to the hard camera like they're supposed to and stuff like that, and did it that way like they're taught. Go ahead, Beef.
And I'm going to talk about Raw here in a little bit, because it was shitty for all the wrong reasons. But so, and Poot, I know you're looking to begin word an edgewise, buddy, so I'm going to make it quick. What if they piped in crowd noise? Not necessarily boos and cheers, but just like ambient mumblings and the occasional cheer. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying like studio laughter and things like that, but like, I think if they piped in some ambient crowd noise, it would make it a little bit more bearable.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Poot?
Well, I watched Raw. Rather, I skimmed through Raw. And the most entertaining thing about Raw, was the beginning and the end. Edge's promo, that proves that someone really good and really talented can do what they do, and no matter where. It was the promo equivalent of wrestling a broom. Like, he did a really good job of making you believe. And then the other thing that was hilarious was Stone Cold getting up on the turnbuckles and going, "Oh, hell yeah," to the crowd, and him, like, having that realization no one's there. And he's like, "Ah, fuck." Like, that made me chuckle. And then when he chugged his beers and just took a back bump, like, that made me laugh. But everything else, I was just kind of, like, underwhelmed. I was absolutely underwhelmed. It felt weird. They tried their best. But you know what? Sometimes your best just isn't good enough. Like, I mean, it was just kind of mediocre. I watched highlights from Dynamite, and I gotta say, it is real. I like that idea of having the boys outside being the crowd, because everyone seemed looser. Everyone seemed like they were like, all right, you know what? We're playing to a TV audience. No one's here. Let's just have fun. It felt like a house show. But not like a house show in the fact that it was like, oh, here's the C-level low-card talent. It was like, it felt like a house show in the way that it was just fun, at least the little bit that I saw. I think that every wrestler, organization should do that right now. I think that's a brilliant idea to have the boys out there. As long as they stay kayfabe, I think it would be really cool. They've done not that kind of stuff before, but they've had the entire roster appear on TV for various reasons. Lumberjack matches, real like segments, and then like actual real things like memorials and stuff. And I understand a memorial is a little bit different. What did I just drop? Oh Jesus! But
a
sick beat.
The point is, like, it can work. It's just, it has to be done really carefully. And the thing is, WWE has never been careful about fuck all anything.
Nope.
So
yeah,
I think it can work. I think honestly, they're getting through the hump. WWE is getting through the hump of, why the fuck is Vince McMahon not care about his employees? Why does he not care about the wrestlers? Why doesn't he care about them? He's putting them all in danger. How come he doesn't just cancel? How come he doesn't this? And it's starting to turn over into, okay, we're seeing a 2-day WrestleMania. We're seeing it, Dopey Magoo is hosting it. But like, it's like now, to me, it's kind of turning over into, you know what? Maybe somewhere in that black heart of Vince McMahon, he's thinking, we got to give people something to do. Sure, a lot of it's probably motivated by money, the fact that he'll be the only sports game in town. and he'll probably get more viewers than he's ever had. I have not no doubt, but I think it's definitely a real possibility that this will be like one of the most viewed WrestleManias ever because of the fact there's no other sports. But
let's circle back around to a discussion we talked about a couple weeks ago. This would be a great time to fucking sell and say, hey, ESPN, hey, Fox, hey, NBC, hey, CBS, you know, you want to run WrestleMania? It's the only live sporting event that you're going to get this hemisphere, and right now, pretty much the world. Like, now is the time to pimp that shit. And I think that's probably a motivation, maybe, that Vince might still be trying to play with that a little bit.
That's all well and good, but they have to put on a decent show, regardless of who they're going to pander to, who they're going to sell it to, or else it's going to come off as a colossal failure. And like you were saying, Beef, with the whole AEW thing, even back during the Monday Night Wars, and I've heard several different, people talk about this, people involved with WWE in the back during the Monday Night Wars, they didn't watch WCW whenever they were doing their shows. They barely watched WCW when they weren't putting on their programming. So like they rarely went even back and watched what WCW did the previous night. And that's a competitor who was gunning to put them out of business. So I honestly don't think the AEW is going to be a blip on Vince's radar. So I don't think Vince watches AEW. I don't think he pays attention to what they're doing.
I don't think he does, but I think enough of the people in the back do that can get into his ear about it.
That leads me to B, settle down, freaking blabbermouth. That leads me to B, which is AEW did it first. And Vince does not like to do something or push something that he's not sole responsible for creating. That's been admitted to by several people. So if AEW is doing this where they're putting the wrestlers out there first, they're the first ones to do it, they kind of like coined the idea, that's not going to be something that Vince McMahon is going to jump on because we're circling back around to new point. He didn't do it first. He didn't come up with the idea, and he's not going to want to do it at WrestleMania because people who watch both shows are going to go, oh, Vince did what AEW was doing. And B, I don't think Vince McMahon is going to want to give AEW credit for coming up with a good idea that he then had to adopt to make his program during these trialing times better. So even if it is a good idea, there's many reasons why Vince McMahon probably won't do that. He might, but there's plenty of reasons why he won't do it.
To be fair.
If he doesn't, to be fair, me. If he doesn't, it's going to be weird because I'm going to say it again. These people, these WWE superstars, wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, they're not conditioned to not have an audience there. And 2 weeks isn't going to be enough time for them to figure out how to concentrate on what's happening in the ring and not focus on that silence. The false finishes, like you said.
Quick. Yeah, 2 points real quick. One, actually, Vince started the idea first because the start of this was John Cena watching 205 Live from production in the arena and kind of like popping and marking out a little bit. WWE posted that video online. So, and it doesn't take a $1 billion empire to go, this is a good idea. Brittany, my lovely wife, said to me on Monday night, she said, they should just put the wrestlers out there and watch the show. Fucking lo and behold, AEW is like, hey, let's put the wrestlers out there and watch the show.
Brittany's the AEW confirmed.
Brittany is the AEW booker. You got it. She's the real exalted one. You're welcome, she says. Secondarily, as far as the guys not being able to recondition themselves, guys and girls, we need to remember that this crop, the most recent crop of superstars, are independent ladies and gentlemen who spent most of their career not pandering to crowds, with the exception of Goldberg and Orton and Edge and Brock Lesnar. And I mean, Brock Lesnar doesn't fucking pander to anybody anyway, so no biggie there. But like with the exception of a select few, most of these guys and girls cut their teeth coming up through ranks where
There's hardly a crowd as it is.
There's hardly a crowd as it is, where they were focused on their in-ring acumen. So, I agree. It's going to be tough because you're right. As soon as they get to the main roster, it's, hard camera, sell to the crowd. Hard camera, sell to the crowd.
There's a lot of conditioning that they do.
There is, but I think they can also, in my mind anyway, I would hope that it's like riding a bike and that they can turn that off as well. We'll see. Like I said, they have 2 weeks to they have 2 weeks to figure it out. If nothing else, like I said, I am hopeful. If nothing, because let's be real and let's talk reality. This WrestleMania, I said it like 10 weeks ago, probably not that long, like 8 weeks ago, that I said that it didn't feel like WrestleMania season. It just, something fell off because nothing was jumping off the page. Like, yes, we have our Undertaker appearance. Maybe the American Badass is coming back. That'd be cool. Like, yes, we're getting Edge's in-ring return for a singles match. And, but, like, there was not a lot that was jumping off this page anyway. So, to me, we have a chance now to make something that would have been probably, and again, we'll never know where this would have fallen in the echelon of, it may have been the greatest of all time, but we'll never know. But honestly, given the card, given what it was looking like, it probably would have fallen outside the top 15. Now we're getting a chance to see something unique and seeing the guys and girls have a chance to actually go out and perform. Not just ham it up for the fucking sponsors and the crowd, but like actually go out there and wrestle clean, good matches. So if they can pull that off, and if they can present something unique and different, and at the end of the day, we'll kind of weave what Tom said here earlier. At the end of the day, and Poot mentioned it as well, they're doing this for us, not the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, the royal we. Because there is so much awful. The editorial. There's so much. I can always count on you for an offer for a Lebowski reference. Thanks, Poot.
Got back just in time for that one.
Yeah, you rock. There's so much doom and gloom happening right now. There's so much uncertainty. People are panicking. People are freaking out. People are stress eating. People are stress buying. People are having anxiety attacks. People are breaking down. And that's just me.
Wednesday.
Is it necessary? Is it overkill? We don't know. Chances are we'll probably never know. But the bottom line is this is doing kind of a lot of crazy things to people. And these guys and girls are out here, them and AEW are the things that are trying to take our minds off of everything. So if WWE for 2 days, 2 evenings, can take our mind off of the awful on the outside, and even if it's just us sitting here and going, man, that was fucking awful. Oh man, Baszler versus Becky Lynch, man, what a stinker that was. Like, oh man, I can't believe Goldberg beat Roman Reigns. Like, even if it's just us being hypercritical, it's still giving us a chance to then forget about what's happening and be focused on something else, which then in turn we're doing to try and help other people. Again, like the all 15 listeners we have, but still, we're doing our part to help, and other people like Bully, Ray, etc. So, I mean, they're giving us a vehicle, and they're giving them a vehicle. They're giving other people a vehicle to try and get people's minds off of the real world, which is never a bad thing.
Wow.
All right, good show, everybody.
Yep.
Tune in
Yeah,
next week for another rendition of fucking Beef's wisdom.
Hey man, I have to deliver some positivity, because yeah, all right. Fuck you guys, I'm going home.
All right, you are home.
You're already home. Don't kid yourself.
So
I mean,
let me bounce off of my wonderful, positive, flowery thought to this.
Oh.
Raw was an absolute excrement on Monday night. So I caught bits and pieces of SmackDown. It was
So
weird,
it's back
but
to
okay.
normal is what you're saying.
Exactly.
cannot confirm. Have not watched.
SmackDown was what it was because it was their first show in a big empty building. Like you said, they're kind of feeling their way through it. I love the Daniel.
Did you guys hear that on SmackDown? Apparently, during the women's match, in some of countries outside the United States, they accidentally broadcast in between, like the ring in between commercial breaks, and they didn't wrestle. They were just standing there, like yucking it up and like talking, high-fiving. Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and they accidentally
there's video of it.
So they broke a law, like every kayfabe ever, because they were yucking. They were just yucking it up.
Has anybody checked on Jim Cornette? Is he okay?
Who cares? Fuck
You might be.
Yeah, right, motherfucker. So like on
Cornetto,
SmackDown, Daniel Bryan.
Cornetto 19.
Oh no! Oh, motherfucker, indeed. But Daniel Bryan came out and started doing his like yes chant, and he's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And Drew Gulak, who was like coaching him that night, was like, man, do it, psych yourself up. Like I was like, all right, that's cool. So like SmackDown last Friday, they were still finding their footing, but man, Raw, they just fucking phoned it in. You know what Raw was? I'll tell you what Raw was. The Royal Rumble match, which was 2 hours. A great Edge promo.
Did they show the whole thing?
The whole fucking Royal Rumble match, yes sir, start to finish. Yep. So, hey, we got Lesnar on Raw. That's a good thing.
That's the only way.
But so yeah, that was literally 2 hours. And then they had Rey versus Andrade, which was an okay match, and that was the match.
Why? Sorry, I gotta interject. Why the fuck do we need to see Rey versus Andrade yet again? Isn't that all played out? Come on.
They're building it up for the fatal 4-way match at WrestleMania, which was supposed to be. Who knows what the fuck's happening now? But it's supposed to be Rey, Andrade, Humberto, and Angel Garza for the United States title. But that notwithstanding, they put on an okay match, especially for having no crowd. It was okay.
Yeah.
But then you had Undertaker come out with like his overall bib down, kind of looking kind of portly, and a fucking ski cap. It's fucking Florida in the spring, Undertaker. What are you wearing a ski cap for?
Because he can do what he wants.
Phoning it in. That's why. And
coming in and flipping the table, and then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson got by him, and the only hope there was that the American Badass might be back, and then Stone Cold, to me, one of the guys who you can put a stick in his hand and say, "Go ahead, man, go do your thing, and you're gonna get something good," and he absolutely stunk up the joint. First of all, they gave him cue cards. You give a guy who is one of the best riffers in the industry cue cards. Okay, makes sense. And then he kept repeating, "Oh man, tough crowd. Like he said it like 4 times. Clearly that was something Vince was like, "Hey man, make sure to say tough crowd." But I mean, it was absolute excrement. It was just not a good segment, and I like Stone Cold. I like the nostalgia of Stone Cold, but it just did not work on Monday night. So it was three hours of a waste for me.
So all that aside, now you were saying that AEW did everything right. Now I have a couple questions for you, and I know there's going to be some spoilers, and I think I already know a few, even though I didn't watch. But how well did did anything with like Lance Archer go over, and did Brody Lee make his debut?
He sure fucking did.
Okay, so how do you feel that went over despite the empty arena?
You know who else made his debut last night for AEW?
Matt Hardy?
Vanguard 1, that's right. And Matt Hardy.
Wait, Vanguard 1?
Oh man, the fucking buzzing. Vanguard 1 is Matt Hardy's drone.
Okay.
That's why I love that character so much. Oh
Okay.
my
So
god.
did he debut as Broken Matt Hardy?
He did. He's like a fucking Silverhawk, man. That thing is like his like familiar, man. It's wild. Anyway, so Lance Archer is paired up with Jake the Snake, which is gold.
Right.
Jake gave a weird promo, and sometimes Jake's promos are weird. Sometimes okay, but he's also one of the great talkers of the business.
I'll give him that. He's great on the mic because he was very menacing and he didn't have to yell and scream to make you like he made you listen to him. No, I don't deny that, but yeah, no, that saying that his promos are sometimes weird is kind of like saying like, you know, the sun sometimes comes out during the day.
Well, I mean, you know, the beauty of Jake's promos were sometimes like after you saw the forest from the trees, you were like, oh. So maybe there's going to be like a come to Jesus.
Wait, so you saw the forest through the trees. Did you smell your own shit on your knees?
No, Marilyn, I did not.
Thank you. Thank you for getting that reference. Thank you.
Hey, man, I'm here for the 90s all day. But like, you know, sometimes, so I'm hoping that there'll be a come to Jesus moment with these Jake Roberts promos, because last night was kind of goofy, but it is what it is. So Lance hasn't done much, but they're kind of warming him up to it. Kind of like Wardlow. They're kind of dipping their feet in. By the way, Wardlow's fucking when Jericho came out, Sammy Guevara took it upon himself to sing Judas with MJF, and the whole fucking time Wardlow was just sitting there with this weirdest fucking look in his face, like, what the fuck are you two doing?
That's awesome.
But as far as Brody Lee's debut, I mean,
was he part of the Dark Order?
He was. He is the Exalted One.
Hooray!
I feel bad for the guy because, you know, he was set to. This was supposed to be in Rochester, his hometown, and the fucking roof would have come unglued. I feel it probably would have been one of the bigger pops of the year. But he did a good job.
Did he look the same?
Well, kind of. He had his hair kind of pulled up in a ponytail. Man bun style thing. His beard is a little bit more clean cut, but he's actually talking, so that's a good thing.
He's a good talker.
He's a great talker. He was talking about Christopher Daniels, and he said, "You're not the first old out of touch man to not believe in me, and but you're going to be the last." Oh yeah, exactly.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Good stuff. So I like Brody Lee, and I like this role for him. It makes sense to give Brody Lee underlings. You know, it was weird having both him and Matt Hardy debut, but like AEW, God love them, they're like, here's our plan. You know, we're not going to change our plan because, you know, the fucking Coliseum is falling apart. We are going to...
How did Matt Hardy make his debut?
It was in the stands. So they last night during Dynamite, and my God, I keep trying to call it Impact. If I ever do, it's not an insult. I'm talking about when Impact was good, with like Styles and Joe and Angle and Daniels and Kazarian, not like the bad Impact now.
Now, quick question: Is Hardy paired up with anybody? Is he part of any sort of alliance? Because they seem to be doing a whole lot of aligning and like making a whole lot of trios.
I think it's one of those things. I think it's kind of one of those things where like the Avengers occasionally will work with Loki.
Okay.
Or Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So the whole night, because they're building up to Blood and Guts, which is their War Games match, which is scheduled for the quote-unquote next time that they bring AEW to us. I was worried that they were saying that last night because I was thinking, oh man, it's going to be like a month before AEW is back on the air. That's not the case. They were forward-thinking, and kind of what I was talking about earlier, where they didn't want to assume that they'd still be on the air next week. That, you know, that there may be some fucking like lockdown in progress where no one can work, you know. So they didn't want to presume that it would be next week. They just said the next time we bring you Dynamite, it'll be there. So anyway, they're going to do Blood and Guts to an open, empty crowd, which is interesting. But the whole night they're plugging that Nick Jackson is hurt and that it's so for Blood and Guts, just to kind of catch everybody up. It's the Elite versus the Inner Circle. Jericho, LAX, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager versus Cody, Kenny, the Bucks, and Hangman Page. Hangman, Adam Page.
Thank you, Jesus Christ! Don't JR it.
Sorry, I got it. Just popped in there. Anyway, so the whole night they're playing up this Nick Jackson injury because the Inner Circle crushed him with a garage door last week. So I'm like, oh shit, he's either got the fucking COVID or a concussion, one of the two. Either way, it's not a good thing.
The COVID.
I almost said the MRSA. But so like, and then at the end of the night,
I think the MRSA is worse.
Yeah, for sure.
MRSA's worse.
So at the end of the night, they do a 3-on-3 match. I'm trying to battle through, guys. I'm really trying. You guys are killing me.
No, it's okay. We really love the Beef the Legend podcast.
The Beef the Bunder. Beef the Blunder. See? I can't.
That's what I'm here for. At the end of the night, they do a 3-on-3 match with Matt Jackson, Hangman Page, and Cody versus LAX and Hager. And for who gets the advantage, who gets the 2-on-1, 3-on-1 advantage in war games, and the Inner Circle won. But then after the match, Jericho did his big thing. Haha, you guys are losers. It's now not only do we have the advantage, but it's 5-on-4. And Matt Jackson was like, oh hey, you're right about one thing. It's we don't have the advantage, but it's not going to be 5-on-4. It's going to be 5-on-5. And then they superimposed this weird fucking buzzing sound, which I guess was supposed to be Vanguard 1. And then they had Vanguard 1
that
come
wasn't
to the ring.
Superimposed. Have you ever heard a
serious?
drone? Have you ever heard a drone, dum-dum? They are loud as fuck.
You're saying that was the real Vanguard 1 sound?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Learn something every day.
Wait, can I ask one more question? Have they done a thing like how they did before whenever they were signing people and they said like somebody is AEW? Have you seen or have they done a thing like Vanguard 1 is AEW?
No, but they should. So
God, I want to see that.
One of us needs to get on this. Anyway,
listen.
I
don't know how much faith I have because they still don't have Jerry Lynn still doesn't have a picture up on their website. So I mean, let's I don't
fair.
know. Yeah.
But so like Jericho was like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" And then like the weird like creepy piano music starts playing, and they cut to like a box in the crowd, and it's broken Matt Hardy with his like little broken outfit and like red hair with his white and going and then doing the delete and everything. It was well received. At least I think it was. But to answer your question, both of those debuts I think came off very well, especially given the circumstances. Again, you feel bad for the guys, but I think they came off well.
I mean, they did, but like, man, I was just trying while I was watching all that stuff to imagine the pop. The pop would have been huge for Matt Hardy.
I agree. And Brody Lee.
Yeah. Brody Lee, though, I'm sorry, he needs better in-ring gear because he looks like a henchman.
Yeah, it looked dumpy. I was expecting like exalted garb, something you can fucking make in WWE 2K20 when it's not fucking freezing up on you. So
you're still playing that?
Won't buy it.
I'm trying, man. Hey. Like I said, I got the whole kit and caboodle for $15, so I'm not gonna bitch, but man, it's rough.
It's shitty.
I stopped playing that like months ago. Unfortunately,
dude, I remember your first live stream. It was a fucking shit show. It was so funny,
yeah.
dude. I'm not gonna lie. I yucked it up the whole time.
They fixed a lot of the stuff. It's running better. But like anything that's like created characters, created arenas, move sets, it's still like a fucking like 60-40 split. Like you're probably gonna freeze up at some point.
Well, like then what the fuck's the point? Because like half of people want to play with created stuff. They don't want to wrestle as Roman Reigns. They want to wrestle as themselves to beat Roman Reigns' ass. Like, come on.
You would think that, but like because so with the last update. they borked community creations pretty bad to where you have to wait like 5 minutes to get to community creations to download anything.
Oh my god, fuck that
Yeah,
nonsense.
it's bad. And
I'm glad I'm glad I made us on there, and then I uploaded it to the zeitgeist of PlayStation Network, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm out."
well, and so I was on the WWE Games Reddit trying to see if anybody else had this problem. It got like 3 comments and like 2 upvotes about it, and that's it. So like honestly, I think that there's probably a large amount of the fan base who actually buy the game to actually play as the characters that intended. Weird, right?
So look, I've got. I'm gonna speak here for a minute.
Yes.
I've got a.
What the fuck are you doing on the Beef the Legend podcast? What the hell, man?
Beef, I'll mute your ass. I can do it.
Go ahead, Ransom.
Look, all joking aside, I can't wait to catch the corona and spread it to you.
Wow.
Man.
Damn,
First place I'm
Gina.
going. If I come down with this, first place I'm going is your house. And I don't give a shit if you don't let me in. I will swan dive through one of those basement windows straight into your place, and I'll lick everything you own. I'll lick your cat. I don't care.
Never mind. Never mind.
One good thing. Shut up, face.
Nope.
The one good thing that's going to come out of this empty arena bullshit that they're doing now, at least for AEW, I don't know about WWE, but at least for AEW, is the first time they are back in front of a crowd. You know damn well that AEW is going to be smart about how they bring Matt Hardy out and how they bring Brody Lee out. It's not just going to be, oh, here's a match with Brody Lee in it, and oh, here's a match with Matt Hardy in it. No. When they're back in front of a live crowd, they're going to bring those 2 guys out the right way, and the pops that they didn't get during their empty arena debuts, the pops that they get whenever they come out, once the crowd is back, is going to more than make up for what they missed on their debuts. Because I have faith in AEW that they're going to introduce these guys to the live crowd the correct way, and when they do, that pop is going to be off the charts. So there's a silver
AEW does an incredible AEW does an incredible job in building people. Look at Moxley, who needed no introduction, who needed no build. They have been handling him with kid gloves, and it's fucking help me. It's working.
Dude,
Like,
he gets the Jan Cena entrance kind of. You know, Justin
The
Roberts.
Jan Moxley.
Justin
yeah.
Roberts S is that D all day long. It's like Jan. 5 minutes later,
Yaxley.
and Moxley.
Jan Moxley.
But he's not the only one. They do a great job with Jake Hager. He wrestles very infrequently, so that when he does, it's an attraction.
I agree. Yeah,
they're doing the same thing with Archer, with Wardlow, and I assume that they're going to do the same thing with Brody Lee and with Matt Hardy. That they're going to make these guys before, and yes, they're going to become staples of the brand. I feel, but before that happens, they're going to feel like such an attraction that, I can't miss Matt Hardy tonight. So yeah, I mean, AEW is very smart with the business, and I think, and I'll give the Black Hat some credit. I think that's Jim Ross's influence. Jim Ross is very smart with personnel, very smart with moves, and very, very, very shrewd with how to get talent over. So I feel like they're doing everything right. Plus, the other thing, the other boon from this is that AEW, jumped up in the ratings, I think, by like 200,000 people last night, to their second highest mark this year, right after the New Year's Day show. When there's no competition, and there wasn't really competition last night, it's a slam dunk. And there again, that's eyes on product. That's an extra 200,000 people who saw, hey, is that Luke Harper? Hey, that's Matt Hardy. And are now going to be like,
I gotta get me a Rey Mysterio t-shirt. I gotta get me a. I'm sorry, I was flashing back to your collar elbow tie up with Tom. Go on.
You're not wrong.
You know what t-shirt you need to get? The Quarantine and Stream shirt. Now available on my Gold Gaming.
Now listen. you're a sponsor, so I'm gonna let you get away with like one of those a night, but that's enough, sir.
Listen,
enough.
what else? I'm out of work right now. What the hell else do I have to do to hang my hat on? I have nothing else but my stream. You let me have this, good sir. You have the Piledriver podcast, so I don't want to hear it.
Whoa. Let's not say things. Let's not
Making-
say things we can't take back, like calling beef good sir. Okay. Just calm down.
Oh God, listen. In all honesty, I was really looking forward to tonight, getting back into the grind here and chatting with you faces. So thanks for helping to put a smile on my face. Although I'm not in desperate throes or anything like that. I'm not, I'm not running out of shit paper and having to, drag my ass on the lawn like a dog or anything like that.
Or the escalator rail.
Or the escalator. I love that one. That was good.
That made me want to throw up.
And by all rights, everything will be okay because we'll, should be able to file for unemployment however long this nonsense goes on for. Thank you for putting a little bit of an extra smile on my face. But go on, face.
Yeah, man, that's that's what I said at the top of the show, and in the middle of the show is that that's what Vince is doing in AEW. They're giving us something. They're putting smiles on our faces, or at least trying to. I think Vince is trying. I really do. Which is making us talk and put smile on other faces. So that's the goal. Smiles in faces. So NXT last night, and I'll touch on this.
Kind of wanted to hear what Ransom still had to say, but go on.
I thought he was done. I'm sorry, Ransom. Did you have another thought?
No, I was done. I went and peed, and I'm back here enjoying the beef cast.
Oh no, are you back in the tree? It's springtime.
No, it's not warm enough to be outside yet.
Okay. So the NXT, it was widely reported last night that also, fuck you guys. If I'm the only one that's watching this shit, of course I gotta fucking steer this fucking Titanic. So
I watched.
Yeah, because good lord, there's nothing in wrestling to talk about except the current product. Dear God in heaven. If only there weren't years and years of wrestling to talk about. Actually, talk about what's going on here today.
Thousands of years ago, before the dawn of McMahon as we knew him, the NXT was widely reported as having no matches last night. So the ratings dipped. They did just over 500,000, which is the lowest I think that they've ever done. So that's that's what happens when you say, hey, we're not putting matches on tonight. You're gonna lose half of your viewing base. But I'll be honest, I guffawed myself and I kind of scoffed through it. In reality, last night's NXT was probably the one that I fast forwarded through the least amount. The entire first hour was a video package with Ciampa and Gargano. Basically interview segments, but they were like in a steel chair, like talking with the camera very intimately. It's not like it was like
they're back to being enemies again.
Yes, the greatest frenemies that ever lived.
Like fucking Ross and Rachel of wrestling.
Yeah, that's it, man.
They were on a break.
They were on a break. Yes.
It's and it's cool because it's not like it was unreleased footage. This is like new interview footage that they did for last night. And so they interlaced with some the old NXT clips, from the Cruiserweight Classic, from DIY's rise to their fall, to the first falling out, and then the re-DIY, and then the second falling out, and then the re-DIY, and the third falling out.
I'm sorry, breaking news. Breaking news, this is for Tom. Hey, Tom, guess what?
What?
According to IGN.com, GameStop employees are told to keep stores open because they are essential business among the COVID-19 outbreak.
Yes! I live on! Okay.
Do you do a lot of business at GameStop, or?
I do, actually. I do. Okay. I do my pre-orders there. I mean, yeah.
He's waiting for 2 awesome games to come in April.
3. Well, 3 if you really want to, if this extends out to May. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Last of Us 2, which is kind of apropos that, that one.
And that's You know what? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to stay on wrestling. But
darn.
the package that they put together with Johnny and Tommaso was very, very good. And the way that they interlaced, and they didn't show like complete matches at all. They just showed like clips and like the bulks of matches. So I thought it was really well done. They did something similar with Finn. They kind of gave him his moment in the sun, and then they let Rhea Ripley kind of close out the show. It was well put together. It's obviously nothing that was going to compete with live action over on AEW, but it was good for what it was. Or live sex celebration. I don't know. It was.
I had to get that one in. Giggity.
But it was not bad.
Wait.
Yes.
Nut, scrotum, beard, nut, your mother, me.
I have my own buttons. I got my own buttons.
Nut, motherfucker, nut.
That's the ransom button. That's the ransom.
Oh my
action
God, we
figure.
need a ransom soundboard.
You pull the string on the ransom action figure, and it just goes, "I'll kill you, nut. You're the worst."
Nut. I can't nut.
And then you hold the string like you used to, so go, "I'll kill you, nut. Motherfucker." Well, my
dear
days,
friend
mate.
Ransom. My dear friend Ransom, sounds like you have something on your mind that you'd like to talk about from yesteryear. So please, the floor is yours.
No, I don't. I have nothing to talk about.
Well, this was good.
Well, what the fuck are you breaking balls for, man?
Because he
What?
can. Because he's ransom.
Well, look, when I get to every
Go
45
on.
minutes
Yes.
when I get to say something,
Oh, here we go.
there's nothing for me to do except to bust your balls there. Fucking Jabberjaw Magoo.
Dick balls.
Listen up,
Dick
duckweed.
balls.
All right, so
Hey, can you tell me what happened on TNA this week? Maybe NWA? Tell me about the baby movement. Let's hear about some
Well,
Smoky Mountain Wrestling there, dickhead.
Motherfucker.
It's the best, motherfucker.
the fucking was great this week. Thank you very much, you fucking louse.
Louse.
I don't
You
even know
heard
what that
me.
means.
Wow.
Can you define that?
There's a louse in the house.
There's a loose moose in the hoose.
Ooh,
Boy.
in the hoose.
Oh, everything's gone off the rails. No, like, so thinking back. Now let's think like this. We have done like where we talked about like really great manias, keynote manias over the years, bad manias, like historically bad manias. Where do you think this one is going to sit? I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but where do you think this one is going to sit in the annals of WrestleMania history?
Right
Honestly-
beside WrestleMania 9.
Wow.
I mean, production wise, yeah, it's gonna be an absolute fucking abortion. But I think again, this is one of those extreme cases where they're gonna have to, like, you can't compare it. You can't it's gonna be different. It's gonna be in a league of its own because given the situation that why, like, you know what I mean?
What if?
Tom, you're such a smart man. That's exactly what I was gonna say. You have to put an asterisk beside this one, even if it's all 5-star matches, and it would have otherwise been the greatest of all time. It's still gonna be weird because there are no giant pops.
Now,
Even if it's the shittiest fucking drizzling shits ever, it's still gonna have an asterisk because we don't know what it would have been in front of a live crowd.
Now, what if they decide first of all, they go ahead with WrestleMania. Second of all, what if they go super uber cinematic with it? Like we're watching a goddamn movie.
Like Lucha Underground.
Yeah, well, no, more than that, like higher production. Like that style, but more. Like, you know, like it literally is like you're going to the movie theater and watching a movie.
Interesting. That's a really good perspective.
Again, like I had mentioned earlier, WWE, it always has and always will be, a TV kind of geared, like they're
TV first.
they're performing for the people at home. Like, yes, they're performing for the people at the arena, but with all the hard camera stuff and the way they're taught that, they are performing for the people at home, and that's why they're still trying to put on some semblance of a show right now, is because they realize, hey, we still have people at home, we have people watching, there's nothing else on for them to watch, we got to give them something. So I mean, I honestly, if I've never watched Lucha Underground, but if there's a way that they can do it to make it work, to make it more cinematic, or more, I don't know, somehow TV episodic. I know they already say like the longest running episodic, blah 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 blah. I'm talking like make it feel like an actual show where there's like a cliffhanger and you actually have to tune in to see what really is going to happen next week. I think that it could be well received. I think they could do it, but it's going to take a lot of finessing. That's all I can say. Like, we're in very, very strange times. So,
and I think that Vince McMahon would absolutely, he would love that idea, because he said it from fucking the get-go that this is not a wrestling program. It's an entertainment program. They're a television program. Right. So, so as much as I hope we get a whole bunch of 5-star matches at WrestleMania, he may be trying for something a little bit more outside the box. I mean, that's an awesome idea, man. That would be super cool.
Right.
The other thing that I thought that they should do is interlace some NXT TakeOver matches into the card as well. Kind of make it a celebration of all things WWE, especially given this year with the NXT Invasion, with Survivor Series, with NXT being prevalent in both Royal Rumbles. Make it a tri-branded show. What have you got to lose,
Go on. What are your guys' thoughts on?
That was the
Since nobody else was talking, fuck it, I'll go. What are your guys' thoughts on them? We heard it rumored that they were gonna sprinkle in some of the Hall of Fame speeches and stuff into the Raw and SmackDown on the weekly, instead of having just the one night thing of the traditional Hall of Fame ceremony. And keep in mind, I mean, we have to think outside the box and not go knee jerky, because again, we're in very strange times. But what are your guys' thoughts in general? I personally happen to think it's a good idea, and it'll give them extra content, to fill their show with. Go on, give me some feedback.
First of all, and I've been remiss not to fucking say this for the last 3 weeks. Fucking awesome that the British Bulldog is finally getting in.
Yeah, kudos.
It's about damn time. And they're putting in Houston Thunder Liger as well, who just retired.
That's pretty great.
Oh, are they? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they are.
Good.
So
can you recap for me, Beef, before you get on one of your freaking Beef pod tangents? Who's all going in so far to the Hall of Fame this year?
Duckweed, I paused and I left 40 seconds for you to fucking talk, and you didn't. Don't you grape at me. You heard me.
No, I am, but I'm very confused.
Don't grape or banana him.
I'll grape at you anytime I want to. They're wino. So
you can grape me anytime. You can grape me anytime, Ransom. Anyway.
This year, you hot dog.
So the Shitty Bella Twins. The Shitty Bella Twins. Okay. Say what you will, but okay. That's the only one that I'm really going about. Yeah. JBL.
Good.
Let me pull it up here. Hold on. 2020. JBL, British Bulldog. I'm going from memory here. Houston Thunder Liger. The NWO. Batista.
Is it Hogan, Hall, and Nash?
Yeah, and Six.
Okay. Whatever. All right.
And that's all that have been announced so far. The Bellas, NWO, JBL, Bulldog, Thunder Liger, and Batista.
Now, I would have to imagine that Ron Simmons is going to put JBL in, right?
Oh my God!
You think so? Yeah.
You has to. So Diana Smith, the widow of the Bulldog, was told that they're going to do the official stuff at SummerSlam, which I think is behoove WWE. I get it, and it would be great to fill their weekly content with it, but man, like even Batista, I don't want to take too much away from him because his star was bright and burned out very fast, but it was really good when it was really good. It's kind of a shitty thing to do to them to say, hey, you're in the Hall of Fame when there's not a Hall of Fame ceremony, but hey, you're in the Hall of Fame. And I get it. It's more about the honor. It's not about the induction, but I mean, fuck's sake. So
that induction is part of that honor, though.
It is, and the stories, and that's why the Hall of Fame ceremony is great. That's why people watch the son of a bitch, because you get all these fucking stories, and you fucking know that JBL's gonna have some stories, like know. So like, and I mean, Batista will probably put together some good stuff too. So to me, I don't think you can take that away from them, and I think you probably have to move it. What are you assholes snickering at?
Nothing.
What am I missing?
Who put a thing in the thing?
Of course he did. He was putting a thing in the thing.
I love Beef's reaction.
Hey, boo-boo.
And that's Ransom's reaction, just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Because you can hear that face, because it's
Yeah,
And the other
exactly.
one, what?
also he's missing a tooth. That's weird. Like I don't know, man. I think they should. If they're gonna make Mania a 2-day event, make time for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but of all things, I think that the Hall of Fame is something that needs to have a crowd for. And that's super weird to say, but like I can get behind seeing wrestling with no crowd, and like a quiet wrestling match again. Japan, AEW, both of them prove that can be done. But to have a Hall of Fame induction ceremony with no applause, with no like hoot and hollering, no chants, it's gonna come off super flat. I get this feeling that even though we're going to be getting WrestleMania, again, supposedly, allegedly, on April 4th and 5th this year, 2-night celebration, I get the feeling that they're probably going to try and do something big for SummerSlam or down the road this year. So either like in Tampa Bay at the Raymond James Stadium, or make SummerSlam an outdoor event in the football field wherever it's being held. So I figure they're probably going to give that whole like pomp and circumstance thing to us just at a later time when they're able to. So I've not read anything about that. Nothing at all is confirmed. Wheels have been turning like that for the last couple of days. So, to me, I would save the Hall of Fame for that or for SummerSlam, to be honest with you.
I would save the Hall of Fame for when you can have people there. And it's not about, it's completely different, like you said, Beef, than a wrestling match. The whole Hall of Fame ceremony the point of that is to be recognized in front of the fans that enjoyed your career and your peers, your colleagues who helped you have that career. So to do like the Hall of Fame in front of nobody, I don't really feel like it gives justice, or it does justice to the people that are going in. The people that are going in deserve to be recognized in front of the fans and the colleagues that watch their career and help them get to where they're at. I really hope that they do justice to the people going in this year and allow them to have that recognition.
It's a situation
in front of the crowd they deserve.
It's a situation that truly does deserve the pomp and circumstance.
Yes,
I just looked over and saw the Orton one. Sorry.
You're right, Pooh. 100%.
Wow. Where the fuck do you keep finding these, Boot?
Dude, honestly, don't worry about it. Let it just be my gimmick.
So look,
Well,
let's take a break.
Poot memes while we talk. You play video games while we talk. Rants and pisses while we talk. That's why it's the fucking Beef Legend podcast. So I'm the only damn professional here, you bastards.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear
talking.
you over the other things I do in my life.
Yeah, no shit.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
So look, let's take a break from the current wrestling talk. We can get back into it after this, but let's take
You
a
do
little.
have some gold abilities.
Let's take a little hot tag trivia break.
Please.
We can bounce back into anything we got to talk about, but let's just do this and break it up a bit.
Listen, I got
HTT.
a really damn good banger of a question for Beef, but I'd like to go last, like asking him, because you other two can chime in. I don't think anybody's gonna get this, but so I would like to ask last.
All right, I will start. Who do I want to start with?
Oh, you're gonna start with me, huh?
Who? Okay, sure. So, I had a couple ones bouncing around. I'll give you this one. WrestleMania seasons. You know that all my topics are WrestleMania related. So, last year at WrestleMania, all of the singles titles were defended and put on the line. Actually, I think all of the titles were put on the line, as one does at WrestleMania. There was one singles title, that was successfully defended. Two titles in total were successfully defended, but one singles title was successfully defended, meaning the champion walked in with the belt and walked out with it. What champion? Who was it? And what match was it? And who did they beat?
I'm sorry. Run that by me one more time. So you want to know?
35.
You want to know? Wait. You want to know what belts were defended successfully? That's basically what it boils down
WrestleMania
to.
35. There was one singles match. So all the singles titles all the titles were defended. There was one singles title that did not change hands. What belt was it? Who was the champ? And who they beat?
Well, I know that the cruiserweight belt changed because we thought it was cool for Tony Nese to get the belt. I remember that.
Poor Tony
I can't
Nese.
remember who had it.
Buddy Murphy, man, the best kept secret.
Was it? Oh, it was Murphy at that point. I thought it was. So I don't know. I just didn't think it was Murphy.
Sanjay Dutt.
Wow, that's a fucking weird name for you to say.
You said singles title, correct?
Yes, sir.
Listen for the clippity clap of Poot's keyboard as he looks up the answer.
Right?
I have a silent keyboard. You'd never know.
That's how you always get them.
No, actually, you want to hear my keyboard? You ready? It's pretty loud. I have those sweet mechanical keys.
What he's actually doing, he's actually muting his mic and using his Google Voice on his phone.
Yep, that's exactly right. You nailed it, Beef.
That's why he always asks me to repeat it. That way he can just feed my voice into Google Voice.
I like it.
No, it's because you yammer and make it more complicated than it has to be. Poot, at WrestleMania 35, what singles title didn't change hands? See how easy that was?
He has a point.
You dope.
Nailed it.
I'm
Balor-
the biggest in the world.
Balor-
You've already taken longer than the damn match was.
No.
Wait. Oh, wait a minute. That was Joe Mysterio.
It was Joe Mysterio.
It was Joe Mysterio
yes,
because
sir.
we were wildly underwhelmed. I can't remember what was it for. It wasn't the IC belt was Balor. Balor won it last year, so it was it had to have been the US belt.
Correct on all accounts.
Yes.
Reportedly, Rey Mysterio was injured, and that's why they went very soft on it. But yeah, no, Joe basically decimated him.
Squashed the fuck out of him.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
It was, dude, like the what am I trying to say here? No, I thought he just went. I thought Mysterio didn't have an injury. I thought he did have an injury. He injured his pride because his ring attire was so fucking stupid. I remember he looked at it was really bad. It was absolutely bad. Yeah. Wow. That feels like so long ago already.
Right?
That feels so long ago. This has been a weird fucking year.
Yeah, it really has.
Man, 2019 and 2020. Tag teaming you no lube. All right. Do I get Tom for this one?
No, you would get Ransom.
Okay,
and
Ransom.
would get Tom.
Hey, Ransom.
Hi.
Tell me, in WWF/WWE, how many titles did Jake the Snake Roberts hold?
I don't know shit about Jake the Snake.
That's disappointing.
Well,
That's for true.
he was never WWE champion, right?
I don't know. That's part of the question.
Okay,
He has a
well,
point,
that's
sir.
fair enough. Okay, all right, let's try and break this down. I don't remember him ever being WWF champion.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't wrestle during WWE. I don't remember him being a tag champion. I don't think the Hardcore Championship was around with Jake. So that's either Intercontinental or European. Was it around for Jake? Yeah, it had to have been. I don't think he was European. So that's Intercontinental. How many Intercontinental title reigns did he have? Damn, son. I don't think he was Intercontinental champion. Was he ever a champion?
Gonna need an answer here, cowboy.
I'm gonna say he was never a champion. He never held a belt.
You are absolutely correct. Jake the Snake Roberts never held a title in WWE/WWF in his entire tenure.
Son of a bitch.
I thought he was Intercontinental Champion. Wow.
Nope, not a one.
I don't remember
Wow.
a title reign, any title reign of his.
You
Jeez, oh, man.
want to talk about some egregious problems? That's an egregious one. Jake the Snake should have at least been IC belt.
Absolutely.
At the very least, my goodness.
Yeah, like he was.
Yeah, but that's a different time. Like, you can say the same thing with Hacksaw. Like, yeah, he's kind of wonky and whatever.
Dude.
But I mean,
No.
was over.
With you can't with Hacksaw. You just can't. Like, you can't say that with Hacksaw. Like, Jake the Snake is something completely different.
Oh, I agree. But it's an example. Like, there are other people from that era that was like, oh man, like this was like the hottest mid-card talent ever. How did they not get X, Y, or Z belt?
That is true. But you are correct, Ransom. He never held one belt.
Poor Jake. That's a shame.
I know, it is a shame.
At least he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yep.
At least
Which
he
just
did
goes
go
to
in
show
there.
that even we've talked about it before with saying some people had Hall of Fame careers or not, or this or that. I can't remember what podcast it was on. It was within this last month that we were saying, like, well, you don't necessarily need a title belt or a title reign or whatever to warrant a Hall of Fame career. You can just have some sort of impact. Because look at Roddy Piper, like,
Or Coco Beware.
yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Listen, I think we should start voting people out of the Hall of Fame, starting with Coco Beware.
and Goldberg. And
Oh.
Goldberg. Please,
Yep.
for the love of God, can we get him out?
Yeah.
All right,
WWE
Prince Harry.
champion.
Yeah. That celebrity wing and needs to. Yeah. All right. Hit me with it. Hit
Hey,
me with it,
Pete
Ransom.
Rose deserves to be in there, damn it. He took a lot of stones.
Yeah, he did.
True.
And he
Drew
was
Carey
entertaining.
doesn't, but Pete Rose does.
He was entertaining.
Yeah. All right, Tom. I don't know if you're gonna get this, so I'm gonna give this to you. Might. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? So I'm gonna give it to you, and if you, in typical Tom fashion, go got nothing, I'm out. I'm gonna pass it to Beef. I'm gonna let Beef be the tag in here if Tom doesn't get this.
Okay.
Ooh, sloppy seconds.
Yeah, that's how you like it.
Well, I've never heard anyone be so excited.
For sloppy seconds.
Ooh. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Go on.
So, Raven's Flock, it was one of my favorite stables.
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's an underrated stable because I thought it was very entertaining. There have been a plethora of members of Raven's Flock. There have been 2 members of Raven's Flock, however, that have been WWF/WWE champions.
Oh.
Name those 2 people.
I can't even remember who was all in Raven's Flock, to tell you the truth.
Tom,
so,
Point of clarification, Art.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Art,
Hold on.
Art,
Now, what were you saying, Poop?
what I was going to say is, I want clarification on what constitutes. Are you saying the WWE Championship or a WWE Championship?
right.
A WWE champion.
There we go.
Oh, I
2
got
members of Raven's Flock have held the WWE Championship.
Have held the WWE Championship?
Yes.
Oh.
Fuck.
Well, they've held WWE/WWF, whatever. They didn't hold the Universal. They didn't hold the World. These 2 people specifically.
But you're talking about
were
the top belt, though. Like the top belt. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I got nothing.
Oh, we gotta have a shirt. We gotta have a shirt.
That says I got nothing. Honestly, I just don't remember who was all in Raven's Flock because I'm trying to think back to like WCW. But I don't remember if there was a reiteration or rebirth of Raven's Flock whenever he came to WWF or not.
No.
There was not. Nope. So the Raven's Flock was Raven, obviously, Van Hammer.
If I was gonna say, would it be very glaringly obvious if you gave me who the members of the flock were?
No, because I can name them, but I don't know who it is.
Okay,
Lodi.
so can we do that? Will you give me the names of Ravens? Well, I'm asking Ransom. Thanks, Beef.
No.
But anyways,
No,
Jesus,
I
No,
won't.
okay.
Beef can.
what's that?
I said I won't, but if Beef can do it from memory without looking it up,
Yeah.
he can do it from memory. Sure.
Okay, Beef, give me the members of Raven's Flock, and then I'll try to answer the question. How about that?
Yep.
Okay.
Raven, Scotty Riggs, Van Hammer, Lodi, not Loki, Lodi, Billy Kidman, Saturn. I'm missing one.
Horace
Raven.
Hogan.
Maybe not. Was Horace in the flock?
Cowboy
Yeah.
Bob Orton.
Cowboy Bob Orton was not there. So yeah, then that's it. Then Raven, Van Hammer, Scotty Riggs, Billy Kidman, also known as Sick Boy. Saturn was in and out, and then Horace Hogan. So I can't name one of them that's been a WWE or the WWE or WF or whatever world champion.
Raven was a
whatever.
hardcore champion.
Yeah, I know.
Yep, so
Okay,
it's Saturn.
I think Kidman won the cruiserweight belt.
Kidman
Yep,
did win.
and-
Kidman
and
did
tag
win the.
teams.
Kidman won the cruiserweight belt. I know Saturn was never a WWE/WWF
I think he was
heavyweight champion. He was maybe at
European,
best.
maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was at best maybe European or tag.
European.
European. Fuck. So none of them were ever. Nobody was ever a WWE/WWF champion from the flock.
Beef, are you concurring with that?
I think there's a trick question here. Like it feels like a trap.
That's why I'm saying. Nobody was. That nobody was
Admiral
ever.
Akbar.
Nobody was ever the top champion. Now, many of them have been other title holders in WWE, but nobody was ever the WWE heavyweight champion. That's my answer.
His phrasing is throwing me because just the way that he's very protective about the wording.
He's being
but,
very
like,
coy.
If he's saying top belt, none of them have weight. Unless you're talking about the WWF/WWE Hardcore Championship, which was the
Nope.
Okay, because that was technically the WWF Championship that was busted up.
So my answer
Nope.
is not a one of them. So what's
and I concur.
What's the correct
Okay.
answer, Ransom?
So the correct answer was and I wasn't playing anything here. I said that there were two. There were two. Keep in mind, Raven's Flock did not exist just in WCW. Raven's Flock existed in ECW and in TNA.
Oh, CM Punk.
CM Punk was a member of Raven's Flock in TNA.
It was him and Julio De Niro until they got in a fight. Yep.
Cactus Jack Mick Foley was a member of Raven's Flock in ECW.
Wow.
So it was CM Punk and Mick Foley that held the WWF/WWE championships that were members of Raven's Flock.
Son of a bitch.
Wow, you got me there, fucker.
I think in TNA they're called The Gathering, but you got me.
I like The Gathering as a name.
I'm about to really get you, Beef. You ready for this? All right.
He's yours. He's yours, Tom. Sick 'em.
All right.
Hollywood Balls.
The Hollywood Balls. So here we go.
I love that.
So Beef is well documented as being a very big AEW mark. Now, we know that when AEW started, there was a whole big hubbubaloo about the title belt being stolen or lost or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So my question to you, Beef, okay? It's gonna be kind of a multi-parter. So this was not the first time that a World Heavyweight Championship had been stolen. My question to you is that it happened to one of Vince's belts. I want you to tell me who was the champion, what title got stolen, and if it got recovered, when it got recovered.
Wow.
Did I say when it got stolen?
That's
that's
toughie.
important. When did it get stolen? Who was the champ? So start with that.
So first of all, is this a WWF or WWE title?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I remember hearing something about it, and that's why they switched out the belt, and that's why they had a new belt, I think. Oh God, was it the Big Blue Eagle? Or the Big Blue Belt? Because that's why they brought in the Smoking Skull. Or was it before that? And that's why they switched to the Winged Eagle. Could have been the Intercontinental title because Austin threw it off a bridge, or did Austin? Yeah, Austin threw it off the bridge first.
To be fair. Thank you. To be fair, that was a replica he threw off there.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, damn it, I know who it was.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's why I think that's why they did the
We talked about this, I think.
Did we? I don't remember.
I could have swore we did.
Like that's why I think they did the Intercontinental title swap. That was the one that initially came to my mind, was when Austin threw it off the bridge, because I knew that he didn't throw the real belt in. And then they moved to like the streamlined purple title, which was cool for a time. I'm glad they went back to the retro one, and then to the new one, which is whatever. I like it, but so that's my answer. I believe that it was the Intercontinental title, the classic belt, that they then wrote off of the story as Austin throwing it in the river and then giving the purple Intercontinental title to The Rock. The when, I don't remember. Would have been probably 97. What year did Stone Cold get King of the Ring? Was that 97? I think it was 97. Or 96, so... I'll say... April 1st, 1997... Someone got The Rock got the Intercontinental title stolen from him, so they wrote off TV and gave him the new one, and Stone Cold put the replica in the lake.
Nope.
Ooh. I know part of that answer, I think.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I have a guess.
I could have swore we talked about this. Didn't Walter have his WWE title belt stolen?
I have no idea, but no, that's not the one. That's not the one I'm referring to.
I don't know.
Didn't he?
He did. He did have his
out of his
stolen.
car or something.
Yeah.
Or out of his bag.
And it was not recovered. They gave him the brand new one. Yep, it was in Chicago this past SummerSlam.
Yep. But
Well,
I have a guess, and it might be kind of a technicality answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Was it whenever Alundra Blaze left and she took the belt and threw it in the trash?
No.
No, it's way too obvious.
No. Nope. You guys are all way off, and I said it was a deep cut. So here we go.
I mean, Ransom's technically right because that did happen to Walter, but go on.
I'm referring to back in 1963 with Bruno Sammartino. He got the WWF title stolen from the locker room in Madison Square Garden. You want to know when they found it?
When?
August of 2012 in Johnny Barron's attic.
Wow.
Who the fuck is Johnny Barron?
Exactly. Some fucking wrestler.
That's fucking cool.
That's
Dude,
hilarious.
Especially with San Martino. Like, San Martino's one of those old guys who, like, he can slap you around and, like, legit make you tap out. Like, to have the stones to take the belt from him.
Dude.
But it was just one of those things. I was listening to Jericho's podcast, and after he lost the title to Moxley, one of his episodes was he's like, now that I'm no longer the champion, he's like, I feel like we can shine some light on what exactly the hell happened. So with all the kerfuckery with the AEW title, it was legit stolen, but like, if you need to go back and listen to it, like, it makes absolutely no fucking sense of like how nobody knew anything at all of what was going on. Like, it seems very, very suspicious. So, but yeah, that's my deep cut for you, Beef.
What a fucking cool question.
And to be fair, you asked the pit.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was good. You asked a piss poor question because you're like, I said one of Vince's belts, and you said, was it a WWF or WWE title? And I said yes, because
fair enough,
one or the other. So.
Good question.
All right, anybody got anything else, or are we done here?
Do we have a hot tag? Or
that was hot tag. Yeah. We certainly do. It's been a hot minute. Let's give Mr. Maniac his time in the sun. Ransom pulled something.
Maniac.
Hey, while Beef's looking up the Stump the Chumps questions, I just want to take this time to thank one of our sponsors, at least, Sean Tischler over at IWC Clearfield, his Facebook group page there. Go check it out. That way you can keep up to date with what's going on with IWC and whether or not it's going to be coming to Clearfield. Obviously, we're in kind of trying times, so we don't even know if the show's going to go on. So, stay tuned to his Facebook page, and hopefully he will have some updates on what's going on.
It also doesn't matter because I'm going to tell you something. No matter what, Pootmas will go off without a hitch.
Except for did you? I'm hoping that this is kind of all resolved by them, but I have my doubts. But Pootmas was the next takeover, the next UK takeover, and I thought that was the next chance we might have to see Balor versus Walter, which they in Balor's piece last night on NXT. He made very clear that he still wants to make that happen, but obviously with travel arrangements being what they are. No one's getting in or out of the fucking UK or at this point the United States. So, but hopefully that's what my mind went to was, oh man, the next takeover is on Pootmas. So maybe they'll do Walter versus Balor then, but probably not at this rate.
That makes me sad.
That's a sad Pootmas Eve.
It is a sad Pootmas Eve.
This might be the saddest of Pootmas Eves of ever. Aside from the very first one, the inaugural one.
Are you saying that your birth was a sad occasion, Poot? Because that's just fucking depressing.
Let's just move on.
Okay. So,
I like how we just all laugh at his dismay. Because that's what friends do. That's what we do.
That's what I do.
Exactly.
I had a thought, but it's fucking in the ether.
It gone.
So stop the chumps. In the mid '80s, there was a WWF title that only had one champion. He said WWE, but it was WWF, obviously. Once this wrestler left temporarily, the title was retired. What was this championship, and who was its only champion?
Oh, fuck.
I don't think it's the $1 million title because I think that Virgil actually beat Ted DiBiase for it at one point.
He did.
Well, and Stone Cold was the $1 million champion. So was Ted DiBiase Jr. So that's not it.
That's true.
No, the WWE. I looked at a list a long time ago about like fuckery that had occurred where they were like introducing random belts for a while, and like
the mid '80s.
Wait, now read the question about how it got retired or whatever again, or whatever happened.
In the mid '80s, there was a WWE title that only had one champion. Once this wrestler left temporarily, the title was retired. What was this championship, and who was its only champion?
See, I was thinking it was going to be some sort of trick question, but the way it's worded doesn't make it sound that way. But I was going to say something about the women's tag team championship because that was around way.
That was in existence for a long time, actually.
I was going to say, well, in the 80s, though, I don't know if it was still around by then or not. So
that's true.
Hold on. Maybe what's going that route because the women's championship was kind of gone for a while and didn't resurface. So when did the women's championship leave? Like from the early 70s and 80s?
Yeah, but that belt has like a defined lineage. This is like, it sounds like one and done.
Okay.
This was probably
it's the gobbledygooker.
Some sort of
like
North American.
I was gonna say like a regional
European
title
champion. Yeah,
like
that's
some kind
what
of,
I'm thinking.
Like Northeastern champion or something.
Well, mid '80s would be awful weird for them to do like a regional. I was thinking like a country specific one that's not like the U.S. because obviously the WCW had the U.S. title, which was their answer to the WWE's Intercontinental title. So I think WWF just then decided to say, oh, well, you know what, we're going to answer that with
no, you know what? Hold on, I think
English
you're on
title.
I think you're onto something. I think it might have been a North American title because I think technically the Intercontinental title was won in a tournament over in like was it Rio de Janeiro, wasn't it, or something like that? Pat Patterson won it like out of the country and then brought it to the WWE, and I think they replaced. I think they replaced the North American title with the Intercontinental title.
Belt.
So
but that was way before the mid '80s, though.
I thought that was. I also thought Pedro Morales was the first Intercontinental.
No, man, Pat
champion.
Patterson was the.
Pat Patterson was the first.
Yeah.
What did Pedro Morales do then?
He
was the
famous Mexican wrestler.
Oh, I'm gonna look up Pedro Morales.
And an awesome mug. So the mid '80s, we're talking like WrestleMania 1, 2, 3. Was it like some sort of stupid like fucking rock and wrestling belt? I'm betting.
No,
I'm saying a North American title.
North American Championship makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but you think that they would mention something like that with the recent NXT North American Championship?
Nah. Not necessarily.
I want to say it was like a British heavyweight or something. I don't know.
Ransom, what do you got? Anything?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
We'll go North American champion because that does make a little bit of sense. But who was that champion? Because now it sounds like there's a fucking story behind it.
Oh, what about Oh, what was the guy that was like set to be the next big thing, and then he was in a car crash?
Oh, TA Magnum.
Yeah,
Magnum.
TA Magnum.
Magnum TA or whatever.
Magnum
the fuck
TA. That's it. Magnum TA.
Let's go with
What
that.
about what if? I was gonna say what Ken Patera was another one that was like, this guy's gonna be the next guy, and he was fucking terrible. But yeah, Magnum TA makes okay. Well, so we'll say we're gonna say North American Championship and Magnum TA, right?
Fuck it, why
Yep.
not?
Okay.
I'll laugh my ass off if that's right. Just saying.
P3 podcast, always the best part of the week, especially when I stump the chumps. Thanks, midcard. The answer was the answer is the one-time championship was the WWF Canadian Championship. Because, and it was awarded
Wow.
to Dino Bravo. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
All right. You know what? That's part of North America. I say we get half points.
Well, I guess to say it's part of North America if you're looking at like risk territories, but sure.
I mean, it's but it's actually part of North America though. Like that's Canada,
I know what you mean.
Canada, America, Mexico.
Well, no, I was gonna say, isn't Mexico considered central to South America?
Not, I mean,
It's Central America.
Central America is not a thing though. Like it's like, hey, we want to be a thing, and everyone's like, no, you're not a thing. There's North America, there's South America. Fuck you, Central America.
Oh.
Oh my!
But
They took our jobs.
we love your wonderful resort. All right, so yeah, that kind of puts a bow on things. I don't have anything else to discuss unless something has changed with WrestleMania between when we started talking and when we're talking now.
It has nothing to do with WrestleMania, but I did get an email from my employer. I did not read it yet, probably regarding the future. Shall I? Shall we indulge the listeners?
Oh, we're gonna find out live.
Yeah, let's find out live.
You want me to
Tom.
break out? You want to break kayfabe here for a minute?
Yeah, let's break
Do it.
kayfabe.
Sweet. All right. So this is from my franchisee, my owners at my work. Good evening. I hope this email finds you well in this unprecedented time. During this temporary closure, we remain committed to you. Our main goal is to attempt to ensure that your income is not interrupted. Hooray. I'm good for that. This is naturally difficult for the company as our business is not operational. However, given the current state of law, if we were to elect to temporarily lay off our staff, the unemployment compensation you would be eligible to receive would be substantially less than your weekly pay. We are not willing to compromise your income. We are hopeful that changes in the law are made to assist small businesses in dealing with the pandemic. That I hate using that term. I'm sorry. Anyways,
It's dumb.
the pandemic that would allow for a split between unemployment and employer contribution to employees who are temporarily laid off. In the absence of a change of the law, coupled with an extended length of the mandated shutdown, your total income could be affected. We hope to avoid that result, and we will give you as much warning as possible if that becomes the case. Trust that we fully appreciate the importance of the situation. We will keep you regularly updated of all changes. Okay, you should not apply for unemployment at this time. Woohoo! Okay. At this time, we are happy to announce that all employees will be paid for all hours they were scheduled to work through the end of the current pay period, March 11th through the 25th, for the 31st pay date. Okay, so that's cool. As a reminder, your March 31st pay will also include hours worked, gratuities, and bonuses for March 11th through 16th. Okay. We will remain in contact, so please continue to check your emails, texts, and voicemails. We look forward to seeing all of you soon. Stay safe and healthy. Marcy. Okay. So
Well, that's exciting news for you.
Man.
don't panic and start applying for unemployment yet. Okay. Cool.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Because they had told
So
us
is-
before this first week that we were off through this Sunday, what is this Sunday? I don't even know what the fuck the date is
The
anymore.
22nd.
Second.
There we go, the 22nd. So they had told us that we were going to be compensated for that first week regardless. So it seems like, I don't know, I guess basically I don't need to apply for unemployment as of yet. So hooray!
Well, that's
Well done.
that's a wonderful thing. Good job, your job.
I know,
And that's
right?
that's still only the second best kayfabe break on the podcast so far.
I know, right? Oh my!
What?
Don't worry about
You'll find out when you go to edit and listen.
Oh,
Anyways.
beef completely out of you, Poot. So
Yeah, he did. First and last
Yeah.
name. All he was missing was home address, social security card, favorite color, favorite beverage, what car you drive, your license plate number, your mother's maiden name.
Gunther.
I didn't. I did not disclose the station ID though, so.
Oh, first and last name though. You went hardcore on that one, Jack.
Yeah, twice.
That's fine. I don't care.
He's the voice of Clearfield. People know him.
So in any case, I'm gonna you know what I'm gonna do here? I'm gonna act like the wrestlers placating to an empty arena, and I'm gonna placate to the other sponsor. We would like to thank Casual Gaming Dad, as he provides us much needed streaming in this time of need, because what the hell else is he gonna do with his time off?
In these troubling times.
So go check him out here on Facebook and on YouTube and Twitch, and go check out his merchandise at Ghoul Gaming, where we also have the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast official T-shirts for sale. There you go.
Well done. And I'm going to take us home. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Country roads.
It's going to be underwhelming as usual. For Alec Ransom, Poot the Bard, Beef the Legend, and Tiger Bomb Tom, we would like to thank you for listening. We hope you tune in next week for another episode of the Pittsburgh Beef Driver Beefcast. Y'all have a beef-tastic beefning. Good beef.